Thank you. Thank you. Great rig, huh? I've got an easy job today. I've got the job of introducing a true friend of mine, and it's really an honor to do so. This guy has done wonders for our university as a leader and as a teacher. And I actually have a unique perspective of how good a teacher he is because I am and always will be the worst student he's ever had on the piano. It says here that he started playing the piano in kindergarten. When you hear him play, you're going to conclude that he started in the crib. He has brought a buzz to this university. He's brought incredible talent in students, professors, and performers for all to enjoy. He's a visionary leader who has changed the Frost School curriculum for all other schools to envy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really proud to be here today and introduce my great friend and your Dean of the Frost School of Music, Shelly Berg.
Wow, that's hard to live up to. President Shalala, Provost LeBlanc, trustees, faculty, administrators, honored guests, and most importantly, students. I am truly honored to stand before you today. Now, graduates, you might be feeling a little gypped. You'll go home and your friends will say, wow, Donna Shalala is your president. She must have gotten Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. Who spoke at your commencement? And you'll say, well, it's this musician who played with Kiss. And a jazz musician at that. People malign jazz musicians. I had a friend once who said, the difference between a large pepperoni pizza and a jazz musician is that the pizza will feed a family of 4. Now, that's not very nice. But when I was working with Kiss, even Gene Simmons maligned jazz musicians. Honest to God, Gene Simmons said to me, the problem with you jazz musicians is you want to play good for $100. He said, we're terrible, and 50,000 people come to every Kiss concert. What would you rather do, play good for $100? He said play good. I would say play well. Play well for $100 or suck for 50,000 people? So I looked at him and said, that's why I'm working with you today, Gene. So in honor of your graduation, you've done a lot of research and inquiry to get here. I thought I should do some research for you. So I've done some primary research. I went to Wikipedia. So these figures are 100% accurate. The Wikipedia data says that 11.57% of the US population gets an advanced degree beyond the bachelor's. And of that number, there's only 1.68% that get a doctoral degree. So you really are part of a very specialized group of people who are more inquisitive and have done more to try to advance thought and culture and society, and my hat is off to you for that. And also, you have more earning potential. You're immediately got 3 times more of the earning potential, which means, of course, you'll be able to give back to the University of Miami, and particularly the Frost School of Music. So I'm grateful. That's right. So, unaccustomed as I am to doing anything that's not at a piano, I'm going to play a little something for you on that piano down here, and that'll be something that we'll talk about. It's a song that some of you may know, but it was written in the mid-1960s, about the time that your parents were born. It was written by a guy named Burt Bacharach with lyric by Hal David, and it's going to have a lot to do with my address today. So if you'll let me come down here. You will have the first commencement speaker that played the piano, probably. Barack Obama would not have done this. that's enough for now. Thank you. So, thanks. I'll stay here in case I need the piano again. Can you see me? Sort of. Music is the mortar of humanity. It doesn't matter your income, your ethnicity, your religion, your social status. None of that matters because one piece of music can cause all of you to feel some version of the same thing at the same time. You cannot hate the person next to you when music has caused you to plug into the same universal human emotion. Nothing draws humankind together like music. And so there's two things I want to talk to you about today. Two, so you'll know when the speech is ending. One is I want to tell you about what music has taught me and what it might teach you about life and relationships. And two, because you have advanced degrees, people will expect you to have wisdom. They will come up to you and they will say, tell me, you with the advanced degree, what is the secret to life? So the second thing I'm going to tell you is the secret to life. The secret to life is the composer of that song, Burt Bacharach. So when somebody asks you what the secret to life is, after you hear my address, you'll be able to say, oh, well, that's Burt Bacharach. Okay? So let's begin. Music is a world of opposites, like so many things. To every yin, there is a yang. Here's the big one. Let me go back to the piano. In music, we spend our time practicing things like scales, arpeggios, technical etudes, things. We practice things, minutes, hours, days, weeks, years, eons of things. And so, I'll come back here now. So, the thing is, after we spend, in jazz music, we call that our chops. In classical music, our classical professors call that our technique. And in other endeavors, you call it your expertise or your prowess. The thing is, when we spend our time practicing things, we think that's what the world wants us to display. I'm supposed to now show you my chops, not the me that's behind those chops. Interesting, huh? So let's talk about Burt Bacharach, who wrote that song. That song, Alfie, that he wrote with Hal David, is the theme from a movie. The movie's about a guy named Alfie who has chops. He has prowess. He's practiced his things very well, and he can do one thing really well. He can seduce women. Now, you might think, this guy's got it made. In fact, because there's no meaning in his life, it leaves him feeling very empty and very unfulfilled. Let me tell you part of the lyric of Alfie. What's it all about, Alfie? Is it just for the moment we live? What's it all about when you sort it out, Alfie? Are we meant to take more than we give? Or are we meant to be kind? And if only fools are kind, Alfie, then I guess it's wise to be cruel. And if life belongs only to the strong, Alfie, then what will you lend on an old golden rule? I'll tell you the rest of the lyric later. Back to music and what it teaches us about life. When I look at musicians, I see a continuum of musicians on this side to this side. I'm somewhere in the middle trying to get over here. The musicians on this side say, check me out. I've got lots of chops and prowess. It doesn't matter if I'm playing Katy Perry or Beethoven, because all music is made to show you my ability. On this side, we have musicians that say, every piece of music is a unique expression of something that's important to mankind and to my fellow human being, and I'm going to do everything I can to convey what the music's intent is. Are we getting close now? Yes, we're getting close to how this can relate to your life and relationships. When I play, I don't want people to see my chops. I want to get into the flow of an intent. I want to get into the flow of something that all humans can relate to, and I want to subsume my chops, my prowess, into that intent so that all you see is the me that's expressing the intent. When we do that in music, it's very healing, and it's very unifying. As an example of that, one of my favorite piano concertos is Beethoven's Fourth Piano Concerto. It doesn't take a lot of chops to play the first measure or two. After that, it does. But the first measure or two really makes you wonder. It's so simple. It's got the same 3 chords that every 50s rock song has. There's hardly any melody, and it's just the simplest thing you ever heard. Back to the piano. And it goes like this. If you just play it. And you might think, well, why the heck did Beethoven start a piano concerto that way? So I thought about it. What's the intent? What's the context? And I thought, you know what? When you start with the basic primary colors of music, you're starting with the font from which all music flows. It's the Mother Earth of everything. It is the font of everything beautiful that's to follow. And so when you play it, I believe the intent is reverence. Reverence for the primary elements from which all mankind springs. And if you think of it that way, it has a completely different meaning. And it deserves to be the opening of a glorious concerto. So, what's our job as a musician? What's our job in life? Everything in life's a flow. There are probably some scientists out there. I'm somewhat of an amateur scientist, which means not at all. But I'm going to assume that this solid object is really not that solid. It's just atoms and molecules flowing together exactly correctly as they always should. Otherwise, we would have an atomic disaster in the Bank United Center. Scientists, do I have that right? Thank you. I'll take that as a yes. And in fact, further than that, I actually read String Theory for Dummies. And it's backed that up. It's told me that in the universe, something can be vibrating over here and 1,000,000 light years away, something else is related to it. Well, that means the whole universe is a flow like music. I love that. So it's about the flow. And so it's not about our technique. It's not about our prowess. The thing about having prowess is it actually makes us nervous. When you have prowess and you think that's what the world expects, well, I better show you my prowess today, and if today's not a good prowess day, I'm going to not be very good. And what if that person has more prowess than me? I tell my students in music, don't try, just be. You can't fail at being. So how does this relate to your life? Well, you're going to be leaders. You're going to be in relationships, of course. And so as you assume these roles in life, you could try to lead from your prowess. I am your leader. I therefore have the most chops. I am the wisest. I've risen through the ranks. So therefore, I will tell you what to do, and you will follow my will. As Dr. Phil would say, how's that working out for you? Now, I don't always get this right. If you talk to my family or my faculty, they might say that sometimes I look like that guy. But I try really hard not to, because leading like that or being in relationships like that leads to feelings of alienation, resentment, detachment. But if we approach our relationships by saying, what's our common intent? What's our mission? Who are we? What do we want to be? And we could all get in a flow of that together. Suddenly it's very easy. It's very hard to lead from your chops. Let's imagine for a second. Imagine I suspended a sheet of metal, of steel, over this auditorium, and it weighs 10,000 pounds. Now imagine I asked you all to stand, which I'm not, and put your hands up, and I lowered that sheet of metal onto you. You'd be going, wow, 10,000 pounds, but man, this flow of humanity is holding us up. This is nothing. And then I said, yes, but you're our leader. Everybody else, let go. We would all be crushed by the 10,000 pounds that was so easy to hold when we were all in a flow together. So I think that's a key to relationships. As they used to say when I was a child in the 60s, go with the flow. They were right. We fight the flow. We're human beings. We have advanced brains that tell us that things we know are true probably aren't, and then we start to worry about them. Go with the flow. So finally we come to the secret of life. Why is Burt Bacharach the secret to life? Well, I've done the math. Burt Bacharach is not a very good singer. He's a great composer. But he sings about as well as I do, not very well. But he has sung the song Alfie 10,000 times in public. 10,000. Can you imagine having to entertain and sing the same song 10,000 times? But if he walked in here today, sat down at the piano, and played and sang Alfie for you, we would all be moved to tears. How does he do that? How does he come in on the 10,000th first time, move you to tears singing Alfie? I'll tell you how he does it. Somehow, he's able to dig inside of himself and get back in touch with the original inspiration, the thing that he fell in love with when he first wrote that song. That's what musicians have to do, and that's what music teaches us about life. If I wake up in the morning and I tell my wife, Julia, I love you, and I say it just like the first time because I mean it like the first time. And when I go to work and I drive by Fairchild Garden and the first time I say, wow, that's gorgeous. If it's not just the thing I drive by, if it's still just as gorgeous, if I can discover the things anew that I love, like I just discovered it again every day, isn't that the secret to life? It is the secret of life. Therefore, what's the secret of life? Burt Bacharach. So then you have to ask yourself, what's your Alfie? What are the things that mean enough to you that you'll dedicate yourself to falling in love with them and rekindling that like the first time every day? I'm going to play a little bit more of Alfie, and then I'm going to have a few final words for you. So the rest of the lyric is, as sure as I believe there's a heaven above, Alfie, I know there's something much more. There's something even non-believers can believe in. I believe in love, Alfie. Without true love, we just exist, Alfie. Until you find the love you've missed, you're nothing, Alfie. Now, today's your day, graduates. You're taking your walk. Here's what the lyrics to Alfie says. It says, when you walk, let your heart lead the way. You'll find love any day, Alfie. So we're all very proud of you. Your families are proud. Your professors are proud. And we helped you get your chops. So take those chops out into the world. Subsume them into your intent. Energize your Alfies. You'll have a great life, and you'll help the world be a better place. Thank you.
Let me assure you, Barack Obama could not have done that. Let's give another hand to Dean Berg. What an extraordinary colleague. Thank you.